Hey guys, BritMan117, welcome back to the channel and something a little bit different. I decided to throw this video together for you whilst I'm working on part 6 of this ultimate build for the Banished AA gun. It's going to be a little while before I get to release this video, so I figured I'd do this just to keep you guys entertained in the meantime. So think of this as a behind the scenes kind of look. I get a lot of people asking me so many questions off the back of these videos. And also I get a lot of requests for live streams. I'm not really geared up or have the time for live streams, so I feel I'd try and meet you in the middle and basically show you what I'm up to in advance of before I start this next phase of the build. So those of you that watched part 5 will have known that we put all 3 of the legs on for the Banished AA gun, and that worked out pretty well. We also showed that it was able to hold its own weight, but since then, first thing for the next part of the build, I've created these stilts here just so I've got something to push down on when I'm working up here, because this is the next part of the build. I need to tie in this back wall to this front wall, which will give it much more strength, because these walls here are relatively superficial. They don't really give it a huge amount of strength, so I need to connect in from here to here. I also have to make something capable of receiving the gun, because I want the gun to be able to be removed as and when I want to, so I can access the interior for obvious reasons. So that's what I'll be doing, but before I do that I need to sort some more parts out, and that's another question people ask me about all the time. So you guys probably know the yellow and the red bricks. I've just got bags of them. They're all the bricks that come with sets just for the building part, and then you remove them later. So I chew through those at a rate of knots. All of these black stilt pieces here mainly come from the countdown set that comes with the saber, and as you can see here, this is one set that I did have. This was a full countdown set, but I've been pillaging parts, so I just basically dive into one of these bags that I've got a complete set that I've bought a long time ago and just been storing, and get the parts that I need out of them. And where do they come from? They come from my parts bins around here. So I've got all of these boxes here basically filled with what were completed sets. Most of them are still completed, and there's a whole load more boxes there filled with sets. So I can use these sets here to scavenge parts for if I need them. I don't really like doing that. I prefer to keep the sets complete if I want to build that model, but when I'm building something as big as this, it needs must, so I just take what I need when I need it. All of these boxes here are all open sets as well, so they are complete again, and only if I'm desperate will I dig into those for certain pieces, but I try to leave them as they are, so if I want to use them for as diorama I can still open them back up and build them. The only reason they're not all on display is simply because I don't have a huge amount of room for displaying stuff. And for those of you that are wondering why my studio looks a little bit different, it's because it's no longer my studio. I'm in my loft at home. I decided to move the studio or the building room home because it was simply easier for me and easier on my family. I got to spend more time here rather than at my place of business, which where the old studio was. It is still there and I will still use it for certain filming things, but on a day-to-day basis I decided to move everything here, so you guys just generally get to see this, and it could be anywhere, but no, we've moved it around a little bit. So as you can see, I've geared the loft up as best as I can for continuing the build. So in terms of parts, I've been going through Defense Point Showdown sets like nobody's business. That's already 8 sets open there, but I need more because I've run out of these pieces here. That's why you may have noticed this leg doesn't have any, but you only get 6 of these, I believe it is, in each Defense Point Showdown set, so we're going to need some more. So I have been collecting them. I've also had some support from Mega Constructs as well, as you guys know, so we need to open some more of these boxes, and this is what takes the time. Basically, before I can start building this next phase of the build, I need to open at least another 4 of these sets and sort all the parts out into these bins up here. That's what all these are here. All these little drawers have got all the individual parts in them, and then also all these pieces down here are from the Defense Point Showdown as well. These bags over here, this is more stuff from the saber, and these are short sword pieces. This is the darker grey that I've been using along with the newer silver supplied by Mega Constructs to give it that weathered look. Rather than it all being pristine silver, I'm constantly mixing it with the older grey from the short swords, which, as you can see, got a couple of open sets here, and I've got a few more in bags in those boxes I showed you earlier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up 4 of these sets, start sorting them all through, and then I'm going to start working on this area here, and we'll see where that takes us. Okay, so that's 4 more boxes open. As you can see there, I've chucked the instruction manuals down there for a while, and I've sorted all of the packets out. So 4 lots of 11, 10, 9 and so on. I've put them all in their order because this just makes it easier to sort. So I can grab all of the bags of 3s, open them up here, and then I'll get my containers that have each of these individual pieces in. Once I've separated all those out together, I'll then put them in their containers. That's what makes it easier for building, and once I've done the 3s, you move on to the 4s and so on. This is going to take me a good few hours to sort through all of these bits, but what you spend on time here, you save when you start building, because you've got everything you need to hand straight away. No rummaging through boxes of parts looking for random pieces. So I'm going to get sorting these now, and I'll be back in a bit. So that's those 4 boxes all sorted now. It took me about 4 hours to do, but it was well worth it. It will make the build so much easier. And as you can see up on the desk, I've started the first part of the build for the gun for part 6. This section here is going to be the red strip you see in the center of the gun that obviously powers up just before it shoots. Now, there's not an awful lot of imagery for these guns, so it's really difficult to know exactly what the gun looks like close up and the detail. So I'm going to use Creative License again to just make a gun that resembles the one that we've seen in the gameplay trailer from last year, but at the same time I'm going to give it my own take as well, just to keep it interesting. The biggest problem I've got at the moment is knowing how big to make it. The actual gun is epic. It's almost the same size as the body and the legs all put together, and it really does tower above that main control room of the gun. So I'm doing my best to estimate the size of each section from the footage from the gameplay trailer, but it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. So because of that, there are definitely going to be delays for part 6, but I'm going to do my best. I'll keep chipping away at it. And as you can see here, I've built this hollow, and the reason I've done this is because I'll be putting LED lighting all the way down the middle here, so once this is encased, I'll be able to push a button and light the gun up, which I think is going to look absolutely awesome. So I'm going to crack on with the build. I just wanted to do this video for you guys to get a little bit of the behind the scenes of what goes on in between each part. And hopefully the next video I release will be part 6 with a gun on top of this control room. So that's about it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.